So next strapping that we're going to cover is just a basic wrist strapping. So the wrist is, I guess, a little bit more complex than what a lot of people think. There are a bunch of tiny bones that sit in through the middle of the wrist as well. And between each of those bones there are ligaments. So it is very common in sports, especially if you're pushing off the ground or coming into repetitive wrist extension, to do a little bit of damage coming in through those ligaments. So the strapping for the wrist is really straightforward. So what I always recommend getting your athlete or patient to do is make a fist and make a really tight fist there. The reason for that is we don't want this to be too tight. If you're not familiar with wrist strappings, I probably would recommend starting off with half rolls. So you're going to start off coming through the top of the wrist and put quite a bit of tension on that tape as you come around, but that tape is just not quite crossing over, and then you just alternate between clockwise and anti-clockwise between those half circles, and always going to starting off on that top part of the wrist. So dropping down and under. That would have been a little bit long. Perfect. And usually I'd say about 3 or 4 of those are pretty good. And by not coming the whole way around, just if you're not familiar with the pressure of the tape, it does just mean that you're not going to cut off too much of the circulation around the wrist. Or if you're happy and you've strapped a bunch of wrists before and you're confident with that pressure, you can just come around and do a couple of full loops there. But again, if it is too tight, the athlete will be quite uncomfortable with that. Keep an eye on colour, just like a lot of the other strappings around the joints on hands and swelling through the fingers, but that will just typically help to stop the wrist coming into that full range of wrist extension.